Well, hey, universe. Thought I'd try to patch over an inelegant opening here that stumble bumbles its way into some material that you're not even going to see represent itself till much later. So, if this were a an outline that you had created to try to help navigate a current of flow that would be somewhat steady, well, I just chopped that all up, turned it into a nonsense outline that goes chippy chappa wappa. So you don't understand anything going in until you get to the end. That was unintentional. But now what am I going to do about it except say, my bad. Should you stop listening? Obviously, yes, duh. All right. Before I get knee deep in tying up conspiracy theory boxes with bows that this time of year are more available than necessary, so maybe I'm a little thick in the conspiracy stuff. I do have regret that I am willing to drop all of this immediately as of today. And I don't know that I get into the regret enough before I just sort of wander off on territory that's less serious. So I am I guess I'm entirely to blame here. When one of the first things you learn about somebody is that they've had major issues in their nuclear family, both up and down the chain, you want to believe that that's just not true. That somehow the interpretation is reverberating back unjustly. You talk yourself into that for sure. And it's one of the reasons I guess I've always found truth to be the one salve for any unjust circumstance you may encounter. If all you do is tell the truth, if all you do is act according to who you are and what your values are, well, everything you ever did is exactly what you would do again. And because I'm in that situation, and yet am the victim of not just real-time emotional distress, but rehashing old-time emotional distress, well, I don't have the need for it. I didn't come here to be a target for another's emotional outwashing. That I've landed there is simply incidental, not even coincidental, or perhaps intentional. Again, as you'll see in one of the conspiracy theories I'm about to undertake, there's more than a little bit of a possibility that maybe, just maybe this person's my guardian angel, right? But having now blown conspiracy theory number one, conspiracy theory number two, that there is some active agent acting against me, well, seen too many movies, watched too much TV? Perhaps. But the skill set is there. I'm just saying, skill set's there. And then number three, again, there is something to be said for having been excommunicated by your direct birth giver. But even now, I have to assume that's a birth giver quirk, because Conspiracy theory number 3. The easiest one to believe is the one in my heart I know has 0 chance of being true. Well, 0? I mean, that's the thing about conspiracy theories, right? God, they're seductive when they're just even like 4% possible. But when they're 40% possible, or even 400% possible, well, then they become even more seductive. I mean, 400%, that's like having all 444s, right? Yep. Stop. Yeah, let's make this a serious Frankenstein episode by chiming in after the Super Lemon Haze has made its way through the maze into the part of my days that say, do I want to complete my ways with another rhyme like maze? The corn, not the walk around in kind. All right. Talk about nonsense that's 33 seconds of life you'll never get back. I'm not angry or hurt now in this position because I've already been angry and hurt. And not even angry, just, wow. Not being able to see the potential to engage here. Whatever. I do not besmirch other people, what they have going on. And because I'm always able to immediately maneuver into something that seems of more value right now, if that's something I want to do, that doesn't mean that I should hold other people to that same standard. So all of these are things that I have been so comfortable with my whole life. It's one of the reasons that when I speak to people on this recording endeavor of No Consequence about what you have to prepare for to truly believe you can handle your fucking weed. Holy shit, man. Get your shit together. What's wrong with you? Can't be spilling your goddamn vaporizer, right? Thank you. It wasn't the vaporizer that was bad. It was the can of sweet watermelon sandia soda. But it's unopened. So should I open it now and see if it's going to go... I mean, why not, right? Hey. Cool. No spillage. If you're not willing to embrace what a lifestyle of up and maneuvering entails, like not being very serious in any relationship, well, I don't know, you just will find yourself there. And you might find yourself in regret. Or you might not. You might find yourself fucking feeling goddamn lucky about something that could have worked out a whole different way had you had different targets in mind or goals to achieve or influences to adhere to. Whatever it may be that you look back on your life and think, well, it's very lucky I didn't get a job with the CIA. That may not be yours, but it's one of mine. An unexpected one. And in so doing, I've always been a rather, depending on your point of view, passive slash disenchanted slash disinterested slash disengaged slash evolved slash transcendent being of peace, harmony, lifting all boats, trying to make everyone feel some level of they're special, whoever I interact with. And I don't interact with shit tons of people, so this isn't some quest of even Zelda proportion. That might be about Zelda proportion. Something like that. So as I fish for the, what was that fish that you couldn't find in that pond? Oh man, we are going way way back. We're going back to playing video games in Seattle, for fuck's sake, with Carrie. Oh, hi, Carrie. The truth is, oh, and by the way, when I speak of 4 to 6 women who it could have worked out with, the one biggest mistake of them all was Carrie. Carrie came at exactly the right time, with the right equipment and the right attitude to get the job done, to be my wife forever. And I fucked it up. So, Carrie, I will always think of you as my number one biggest screw up in life when it comes to romance. There are many others, but you're the big one. You're the biggest one. Which is saying something. Back on target. So, not being angry about where all this emotional upheaval sits today is because I processed it all. And if you want to see me in disengaged mode, well, it's last February into March when this really rolled me over. It has done so it cannot do so again, at least not in its current capacity. Therefore, when I talk about it with some level of detached, detachment, this is why. I do this with intent, with the intent of I'm not going to fall prey to revisiting elements of life that I'm happy for my joyous celebration of potential. The never seeing it realized is just my karma being delivered retributionally. Retributionally? Could not be a word if I had to guess, but it could be a word. Would you challenge me in Scrabble? Fuck yeah, you would, because how would I have spelled it? What would have been on the board that I could have even spelled retributionally? I don't even know if that's less than 15 letters. So, unfortunately, knowing that Scrabble boards can accommodate a 15-letter word makes me think, well, if you listen this far, fuck, go ahead and listen to the rest. But know that the lack of emotional friction isn't because it didn't exist. It's because I've pushed through it into a place of, again, true forgiveness. And therefore, maybe the rest of this will make some sense. Of that I am certain. Hello, universe. What do you know? I guess I came up with something I'm certain about. That I am learning lessons. Always. What do you think, Kitty? Can we be certain about that? Hey, Kitty. So, Kitty's health has taken a strange turn. She has ripped the scab piece of her scabbiness off of her body, which I think has made her quite a bit healthier. Or at least, she's moving easier today. She's not sitting easier, which is weird. She is running and jumping in places I've never seen her run and jump. Well, that I haven't seen her run and jump in a while. Like she got up on the bookshelf in the living room. And she hadn't been up there for such a long period of time that it took me a while to get up there and find her. Anyhow, my point is, you don't care about this, which is why I'm talking about it. Because here on It's All My Fault, when you're bored, because I'm talking about stupid shit, well, that's my fault. But I'm going to say in that one case, we're cooperating in creating fault because you could just hit stop, pause, whatever. And if you don't, and you think, well, maybe something better is coming, even though I'm bored now, and then I disappoint you, well, how much of that is my fault? At that point, you've already made the decision that you're risking the next such and such frame of time to give me a chance to perhaps not bore you, though I've proven already that I've done that so far. At some point in there, I think it becomes your fault. And so, maybe that's why today I wanted to think about assigning blame and why I am in no mood to figure out losers, winners, and draws in this current predicament I find myself. I do know that my dreams have been no help here. Thank you, dreams. I have looked for guidance in my dreams. I have used some level of thought-provoking mantra to get into a dream state of support, only to find myself not there. So, okay. My dreams aren't going to help me through this. That I can somewhat live with. But my current am I doing the right thing meter keeps swinging into you have to let this go. You have to forgive everyone involved for however misperceived my intentions were, that they were received in a way that was clearly far, far from anything I would ever have been motivated to project. Obviously, some of that has to fall on my fault, right? Just like if this is as compelling as watching somebody mow their lawn, well, you owe yourself the stop button. Not hitting it is your fault. Because the world is filled with compelling undertakings. The reason I get to play this game is because there is a compelling review to be had for me here. And even going back to the recording on the 10th of November, 3 days before this incident blew up, of course, the imagery that was peppering my illustrative mind out of nowhere was of me dying in her arms. Metaphorically and symbolically, I kind of like the play there, universe. And so I get to this point in life, and I'm at a ridge that feels treacherous on both sides. Looking left, I could fall to my death. Looking right, I could fall to my death. Maybe that's why those two ravens were helping me home that one day. Maybe they knew I'd need it. I don't know. Again, being jerked around by the universe. Well, it's something I can't say I've never participated in from the other side. When I speak about comeuppance of my own karmic kind, especially where it's embracing the male-female dynamic, well, I'm left with a pretty stark reality of substandard performance on my part. Oh, yeah. And what I mean in that is I've let myself down. I've let my past love potential down. And I've let my caring, kind, understanding, and forgiving nature down. I was not an honorable boyfriend, ever. I cheated on every girlfriend I ever had, I think. That may be exaggerating by one. But probably only because I didn't have the capacity to cheat. I mean, I'm not going to go through and figure out if I was 99% a cheater or 100% a cheater. We'll just call it 100. And what's funny is funny. There's nothing funny about that. That's a pathetic standard on which to have to bear. But what's potentially karmic retribution for all of that shenanigan pulling initially in this cross dynamic that occurred here, well, go back and listen. Never have I ever, even in all of those other fun interludes, a couple of which were fun interludes, did I ever think I'd found the one. Ultimately, I guess I thought they were all the one. Because you just kind of pick, right? And of a dozen great women that I happened to get lucky enough to date, or say 36 even, of which only a dozen I was sober was the word I think I was going with. Sober enough to realize their greatness. 24 of whom just fluttered under the radar, and another 2 or 3 dozen who probably weren't great. Well, you start to add up those kinds of numbers, and the 12 or so that ring true, even if you cut that in half to a real crowd of 6 that you really loved, well, you thought you loved. So, if that was the lesson I was trying to be taught, lesson fucking learned. Lesson learned. So, late in life, you get an opportunity to see something that's just far beyond what you have known. Like, make some of the previous chaos, well, it lets that fall into some sort of order, some sort of meaningful presentation in a way that even you don't fully want to endorse. It feels like some sort of manipulation of your own mental state. None of this was an experience I want to go through again. But it did show me one level of connection that mattered beyond even my own life. So eternal do I feel like this connection could still be that I don't even want to tarnish it now. Of course I could be deluded. Of course this could be the simple heartbreak of a never launched, somehow different from everything else in my life experience emotionally. I guess I'll find out beyond the veil, right? But wanting nothing to do with bringing detriment to anybody, especially those with whom I feel some sort of cosmic connection. Well, I don't know that I am going to rehash everything that happened here. I don't know that it's worth it. I don't know that going back along that pathway for myself has anything but negative value. And if that's the proposition, why would I do it? I don't need to be told by anybody else, yeah, bro, we think you're right. You got fucking jobbed. You got hosed. You got fucking one-upped. You got outplayed. All of those would be fair assessments, right? So there's all of that that needs not being drilled through. I'm aware here that I have lost. I have lost greatly. And I'm not the better for it. But I am the better for knowing what I lost. I hate that cliche as much as I hate any. But in this case, to have loved and lost was better than never to have loved at all. Because as it turns out, that's where I was sitting. Till I met my nemesis of current design. And sit there I still do. Sit there I will forever. Well, I don't know. Maybe behind the veil I'll get the last laugh. But at least I'll be laughing instead of crying. There was enough heartbreak here on planet Earth with this one. I don't need to bring that beyond the veil. I know that much. Pause. So, should we hit the 3 conspiracy theories that roll around in my head regarding this situation? They're kind of fun. That's why I think maybe we should hit them. And by hit them, I mean not like punch them, but review them. That would be review. Just like I'm about to review some. What do we got here? The end of the Bear Claw. Oh, goodbye, Bear Claw. You were so good to us. Next will be the end of the Sherbmosa. No more Sherbmosa. Which, when you put sherbet with mimosa together, you get Sherbmosa. That's the way stoners think, right? So conspiracy theory number 1. My nemesis is my guardian angel. Yeah, that one's got legs. Because, sorry about the coughing. Because, fuck, man. Somebody had to push me out of Home Depot. Might as well be my conspiracy theoried guardian angel. And when you push me out of Home Depot and into the blonde woman with 3 boys connection. Well, that one was unexpectedly synchronous. But even if all that stuff is fucking nonsense, the community that was and is and exists in the stand-up brethren of Denver is a community much more worth knowing than any Home Depot staff. And there are about 150 people in each situation. So, I don't know. I'm not saying that everything that happened here feels like it was a transition for the worse. That's just the interpersonal transition dynamic. A lot of the world and experience adventure. Oh, and not only that, but the whole Crested Butte, the whole Pagosa Springs connection with Diamond. I don't know. And off of that, Nikki Anna Jones. Fuck. Seriously. At some point, it's like, if all the meaningful movement pieces on the board are starting to coordinate because this person's influence is actually, whether in negative reverberation or in direct instigation, well, it's pushed me to some of the more unexpected and yet necessary connections of this real moment. And if the timeline is more accelerated than I thought it was, well, then that's even more important. Could she be a non-player character insert for me? Maybe. Any distraction about anything other than getting the fuck on with stuff, including fucking friendship building, there's no time. Okay. So that's conspiracy theory number 1, which, like I said, has legs, even if I'm telling it while my mouth is filled with dab tool. That's conspiracy theory number 1, that my guardian angel is actually who this person is. Or some level of soul group participant who's here on fucking weary mission number 317 to put me correct, to get me the perspective necessary to move forward with what needs to happen next in my life. Okay, possibly. In fact, pretty hard to deny. In terms of how much conspiracy theory weight life should be handed, this one is my favorite. Because the next one, could she be part of a rogue MI6, CIA, Mossad cooperative who is here to throw me off track? Okay. There's an obvious problem with this conspiracy theory right away, and that is the delusion of grandeur necessary for me to accommodate myself as a target of any of those agencies. That is a huge bridge to cross. But you figure whatever AI filter they got out there that's combing through podcasts, even one at a time, has eventually stumbled into it's all my fault. Oh, look, this guy's even willing to confess. Let's hear what he has to say. Maybe we could use him. Well, with that, oh boy, hold on, pause. All right, and the truth is, even the first, week I worked with this person, their competence level was too high. And there was something inserted that felt about them. And yeah, of course. These are all just fun. I'm not claiming that my current nemesis works for the CIA or the Mossad or anybody else other than the Home Depot and whatever else she does, but I doubt it's spy work. But nonetheless, pause. So yeah, could I be the target of some sort of disruptive infiltration maneuver from one of the deep state operatives working both in and outside of my country? Fuck no. That's why this is a conspiracy theory. Now, could my nemesis be that plugged in that she's actually on assignment and I just happen to be some collateral damage involved? Maybe. I mean, in the world of conspiracy theory? Yeah, duh. And then that leaves us with the final conspiracy theory, which is that my nemesis just does this for enjoyment. And the reason that's a conspiracy theory is because, boy, does that ever not look possible. If you really go back and listen to the very first opinion I had of this person, or speak of what kind of influence those who radiate a belief in others, an expectation of others to be at their best. You don't see these kinds of energy. Oh, no. Nope. Kitty, we're going to take you this way. Now I know where that went. Well, I know you took a turn for the better, and that's all good. Well, sorry for the cat pause. That's, boy, is that, I think that's editable. That might be the first intentional edit I create. Or not. Depends on how long it really was. Felt like it was like a minute and a half. Could have only been 35 seconds, in which case I might just make you put up with it. But if this person can mask their true intention with the level of benevolence and outright care they project to the universe. Well, I just don't buy it. Which is why that's a conspiracy theory. It just doesn't jive. It doesn't fit any of my intuitions or reactive mechanisms. It's just wrong. Which is another reason that I find it hard to do anything here but be appropriate. And by be appropriate, I mean be not malicious. Be not responsive, reactive, and revenge-laden. But somehow I feel like with all of the cross energetic responsiveness I get in the universe from this person without ever interacting with them, which is more than I think I've ever gotten with anyone. Or at least more of the cosmically confusing. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I know that I don't want to be a harmful agent in a universe where there's too much harm already. I have no intent to participate further with that. I will not. And I will not in such a capacity as to say that none of these conspiracy theories matter. Because in the end, whatever lesson is here to be learned by me, well, it's time to move on. I have nothing further to say on this subject. I will not speak of it again unless there is something of which to be spoken of. I have said what I have to say. I did nothing wrong here, other than maybe let my heart get broken. But I knew that could happen, and it did. So, life lesson or just another experience in the emotional chart of this is what it's like to be a human being. Seems a lot more the latter. And I'm in no headspace, heart space, or time and space to feel like I need to say anything else. Other than, I hope your life's going well. Because even with this shit going down, man, I wouldn't change my life for yours. Fuck no. Do you know what my life is like? Apparently not.